What is up, people? I am Mr. Filthy. This is WWE Breakdowns, and as you can see, my buddy Ryan is not here today. He is unfortunately feeling under the weather, so we are going to continue on with this podcast on our own today. We are we are watching this Raw in Knoxville, Tennessee. This Raw was a pretty good Raw, I gotta say. We start out with Roman and Adam Pearce opening up the show by talking about where's my title. He leaves the car. He comes out. Adam Pearce meets him. He said, "Where's my title? Why are we even talking? And I don't have my titles in my hand right now." And then he's like, "Can someone get him his title?" And he basically talks to him about how they're potentially looking into firing Jacob Fatu for what he did at Backlash. He attacked Adam Pearce. He attacked several officials. He broke a lot of rules, and it might be above. It might be above a fire or it's just a fine, you know. And then Roman's like, "Who brought in Fatu? I brought in Fatu. I'm gonna take him out." So basically, he's saying he doesn't want Roman Reigns does not want Fatu to get fired at all. Next, we lead up with the Vision, and they come out and they talk about Joe Hendry and the Street Profits, how they're a bunch of this and they're a bunch of that. They have, and then I believe the Street Profits and Joe Hendry come out and interrupt the Miz, the Vision, and they attack them, leading to a match with the tag teams. We have OG. We have a backstage segment with OG Americano. He essentially is talking to Adam Pearce, and then Dom and Liv interrupt, and he starts to say that I believe OG Americano says we have luchador stuff to talk about here, so not whatever you guys are trying to talk about. And Dom goes up and straight says to him, "You're not even a real luchador anyway." And he gets heavily offended, and Adam Pearce interrupts everything and is like, "You know what? You're right. You do need a title match. And we're going to give the title defense, or we're going to give you a title defense against OG El Grande Americano for the AAA Mega Champion, I believe is the name of the title." Next, we have Penta calling out Ethan Page, saying, "I'm not afraid to defend my title," and that leads to Ethan Page coming out and talking a bunch of crap about him, saying, "I'm not gonna. This is the not title. This is the most important title. This is what every great pro in wrestling has to go to prove and make their point about how good they are before they can go on to bigger and better things." And he gets interrupted by Rusev, essentially saying, "There's no way you're getting a title match before me." Ethan Page is like, "I totally agree." And I was saying that to Adam Pearce. That is until Javon Evans interrupts me and starts talking a bunch of crap about you, Rusev, to Adam Pearce, and says, how could he get a title match if he can't even beat me? And then Javon comes out and says that's a bunch of cap. It's a bunch of bullshit. He didn't say that. And then we have a 4-way match between them, I believe. Or no. We have a one-on-one match with Javon Evans, Rusev. Rusev essentially just dominates the first half of the match and, basically gives zero offense to Javon Evans. But then this eventually leads to Javon hitting him with an OG cutter and actually beating him. We next have a backstage segment with Asuka and Io. They hug and they apologize to each other for their beefs in the past. And Asuka leaves, I think. They're basically suggesting she's leaving WWE, it seems like. But next we have a promo out in the ring with Brie and Paige. It's kind of boring. Nothing really important was said. But they get interrupted by Roxanne Perez and Raquel, and they call them washed up has-beens and say that you need to give me the title now because we're going to take it from you anyway. Might as well hand it over. And so they put their hands out, waiting for the title, and Paige elbows her in the face for it. And this then leads to a brawl. Sorry about that. My notes weren't working. This leads to a brawl, essentially, where eventually Liv ends up sliding into the ring and just giving a code breaker or knees to the face to Paige, I believe. Then we have another backstage segment with Dom where he says he's surpassed his dad, which I don't get how he's done that when he really hasn't done anything except for join the Judgment Day and win an indie title. He won the United States title as well. Meanwhile, his dad's, I believe, a multiple-time World Heavyweight Champion, as well as a IC title, I think US title, and Tag Team Champion. So I don't know what this guy's talking about. And next we have Io Sky and Soruka. There's a bunch of back and forth acrobatic moves that are going on just constantly through the match. Too many for me to list off. Just to hit a couple, there was a spot where Io hits a Hurricane Rana off the side of the or side of the ring, and then Sol hits a springboard corkscrew over the top, and just annihilates Io with it. Soruka tries to do a suplex off the top rope, but then Io reverses it and hits a Spanish fly off the top rope. That later leads to an exchange where Soruka goes and attempts to hit her Soul Snatcher, and Io stops herself just before it hits, reverses it, and hits her with the pin, and just leaves her dumbfounded. We then have a backstage segment with the Street Profits where they're about to get interviewed, and Seth Rollins comes and tries to talk to them and says, we need each other to win against them. And if you want these tag team titles, you definitely need my help. And Montez Ford basically is like, you said it yourself last week. You go your way and do your thing, and I'll go our way and do our thing. And he walks away. Obed then comes out. He presents his Obed challenge. Adam Pearce comes out to unfortunately inform him that nobody has accepted the open challenge and that basically it's going to be canceled for this week because everyone's afraid of Obed. And Obed does not let that happen. He just goes down to the ring and pushes past Adam Pearce. He grabs somebody from the back. It happens to be Los Garza. He takes both of them, beats them up, drags them down to the center of the ring, and then has a 2-on-1 handicap where he just absolutely squashes them in like under 2 minutes probably. So much for them building towards anything now that they're back on TV. We got Finn attacking JD backstage while he's walking with Dom, and then he slams his head into a wall twice, and then he says to Dom, good luck out there, you're going to have to do this one all on your own. And Dom's like, well, I got gold to defend out there, unlike something you wouldn't know about. We got the AAA Mega title on the line against El Grande versus Dom. There was several high-flying spots from both Dominic Mysterio and El Grande Americano. One of them being the very beautiful, very clean moonsault by the OG Americano. We have Dom walking and doing a tightrope into an arm drag off the top rope on OG Americano. We also have a dragon suplex by OG that almost leads to a pin. Real Grande Americano interferes, almost making OG Americano lose, but then we have Los Hermanos Americanos come to help. They start taking out the real OG Americano, but he then tries to interfere with the match. OG Americano then goes and tries to demask him. In the process of demasking him, he's leaning over the ropes and gets hit with a 619 by Dominic Mysterio, which leads to the win. We got Roman Reigns coming out and basically saying to Fatu to come out and acknowledge him. And as Fatu is walking out, Jey Uso is there trying to attempt to stop him from leaving. He then essentially uh, beats the shit out of Jey Uso and just kind of like leaves him lying. I believe he then goes out, and then Jimmy Uso comes and tries to attack him, which leads to him getting his ass beat as well. Then we have an extremely long fight segment just between Roman Reigns and Jimmy Fatu. Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu, where Roman Reigns and Fatu fight, and he goes and basically throws Roman out of the ring. He goes for a suicide dive, but gets hit with a Superman punch. Roman grabs a chair and starts beating him up after that, and Fatu starts screaming, or he starts screaming at Fatu to acknowledge him. Jacob Fatu grips him with the Tongan death grip, and then leads him out of the ring with it, and then hits the suicide dive that he went to go hit prior to that. He then rolls out of the ring, or he rolls up behind him and tries to throw him into the ring post. Fatu then sorry about that. I misread my notes. Jacob Fatu then, after sending him into the ring post, basically says to him, "You left my family broke," and then sends Roman through the announce table with a power bomb. They try to come out to stop him, Adam Pearce and all the other like executives in the back, but they just end up getting thrown around, and Fatu hits him with their grip again, just constantly hitting him over and over and over again with the Tongan death grip. And then he rolls away, goes into the ring, grabs up Roman Reigns' title and starts licking it, and basically holding it over his head, saying, like, "I'm going to be the next champion. Like, this is a guaranteed fact. He has proclaimed it. He's calling it now." I honestly think this angle was probably the best angle of the night. I'm glad they didn't even do any conversations. They did a minor little talk. Jacob said that he wanted, or what did he say in the beginning before Roman called him out? He basically said to him, "You want me to acknowledge you, but you're going to have to beat it out of me." And then they go and he tries to beat it out of him. It's exactly what you want out of it. Not too much talking. Roman Reigns isn't always the best on the mic. Not to say that he's perfectly terrible, but he's not the best. It's the best way to do it, really. Just have them fight. Have them beef. But if I had to rank this, I would probably give it a solid 8. Maybe even an 8.5. Because this entire Raw was just pretty solid from the start to the finish. I don't think there was a single spot that really wasn't interesting. Did I forget anything? No, it looks like it. Yeah, it did feel a little bit short, though, I must say. It didn't feel like it lasted as long as it did. And I believe we had a 2 hour and 20 minute. Yeah, so it is shorter. Usually, I believe Raw is about 3 hours. They dropped it down to 2.5 this week, I guess. It felt very rushed, and I have been hearing rumors about how they're going to essentially try to start making Raw and SmackDown shorter. I don't like this. I'm kind of the opinion that there's too many people already, and you kind of need more time for everybody if you're going to do it the way we're doing it. And it's not cable, there's no time constraints, there really is no good reason to make it shorter anymore. But that is just a quick solo run over the Monday Night Raw of Knoxville, Tennessee. I hope you guys did enjoy. Please leave a like and subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments. And my name is Mr. Filthy, and this is WWE Breakdowns, and we are out of here. Peace.